Welcome to the Build Your Reiki Business podcast. I'm Christian of Standing Stones Healing, founder of the Reiki Business Collective and creator of the Build Your Reiki Business program, sending blessings and best wishes to your Reiki business. Greetings, welcome, and thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Build Your Reiki Business podcast. I'm Christian of Standing Stones Healing. Thank you so much for being here. As always, it is an honor, and I thank you. In this episode, we're talking about how to deal with the haters. How to deal with haters. Because at some point on our Reiki business journey, we're going to run into some haters. Whether they are online or offline, haters are out there, and it is inevitable that at some point you're going to run into haters. It's only a matter of time. If you are putting yourself out there, if you are expanding your Reiki business, if you are posting, creating videos, or even having conversations on the street, at some point you're gonna get haters. Now, when I say haters, I am including in this broad umbrella a lot of different kinds of people. The people who are going to hate on you because they don't believe in Reiki. The people who are going to hate on you because they don't like what you're doing or how you're doing it. And even just the people who are going to comment rudely, who are going to respond in inappropriate ways, particularly on social media. But again, this can happen offline as well. You know, bullying, rude comments, and nastiness were around before social media. And so what that means is that this can indeed and does happen offline as well. But how do you deal with the haters? It's really going to depend upon the context and exactly what's happening in each individual situation. But the first thing that I want to encourage you with is to know that it's most likely going to happen. Like it's really probably going to happen at some point. The longer you have your Reiki business, the greater chance it's going to happen. The more you put yourself out there, the greater chance it's going to happen. And so really it is just inevitable that at some point you're going to have rude comments. You're going to have people who are unkind. You're going to have the haters in some way, shape, or form. It's going to happen. And so first I want to encourage you to know that it's just going to happen. Is it unfortunate? Yes, of course it is. You know, it would be nice if we could all be nice and kind to one another, but we know that we don't live in a world in which everyone is always nice and kind. And let's be real, sometimes we are the person who is not nice or kind. Let's be honest that sometimes we are the haters and that sometimes we are not always bringing all of the niceness. So when we realize, recognize, honor, and acknowledge that this is going to happen, then we can prepare for it. Rather than dreading that it's going to happen, we can just know that, yeah, it's going to happen. We're going to have haters. We're going to have people who don't like our stuff, who comment nasty things, who tell us that Reiki is a bunch of crap. We're going to have that. And so if we know that that's going to happen, then we can prepare for it. And how can we prepare for it? First and foremost, we can cultivate our own energy and to work on our own self and build up our own energy. And so to make sure that we are doing all of the things that we need and want to be doing to keep our own vibe high. So that when we get the rude comments, when we get the haters, that rather than really bother us, it almost just kind of bounces off of us. Now, of course, We are all humans and we all have feelings. You know that saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, words will never hurt me? Well, we know that's not the case. I'm sorry, that's a load of crap. Words do hurt and we do have feelings. So let's keep that in mind so that if/when your feelings are hurt by the comments, that we are not judging ourselves and blaming one another for the hurt feelings. You know, we can easily say to ourselves and to other Reiki business owners, toughen up, get a thick skin. It's going to happen, so deal with it. And yes, it's going to happen. And yes, we'll deal with it. And it doesn't mean that in the process, our feelings aren't going to be hurt. And that it's okay to honor and recognize that and know that, yeah, our feelings are probably going to get hurt too. So that when I say cultivate our own energy and do our own self-care practices and keep our own vibe high, and so that, it bounces off of you, it doesn't mean that it's not going to hurt. It doesn't mean that it doesn't suck. And it doesn't mean that we're not going to not like it. It just simply means that we are going to have in our toolbox all of the tools necessary in order to help us be resilient in the face of the haters and to help us build ourselves up and build ourselves back from the unkind comments, the rudeness, and all of that. So having at our disposal all of our own tools and tactics and practices is going to be really helpful. So doing all of our own self-care and practices before we get the haters is going to help us to deal with the haters when we get them. So keeping our own vibe high, taking care of our own energy, and coming at the haters from a high vibe kind of place rather than from a depleted, low vibe kind of place. So of course, this is always important in our own practice. And of course, Reiki is always there to help us with that as well. So our own Reiki practice will really help us to deal with the haters when we get them. Now, I will say that when it comes to the haters and inappropriate comments, what is really unfortunate in our society, let's be honest, let's acknowledge this, let's be open and upfront about it, that women have this challenge a lot more than men. And so women, I send my deepest apologies to you for the crap that you often have to put up. Well, we got a lot of crap in this episode, by the way. I think that's like the third crap. But for the crap that you put up with and have to deal with from men, let's just be honest, let's be real, and let's put that out there. That by and large, when there are inappropriate comments on posts, by and large, they are coming from men to women or from male identified or appearing haters to female identified or appearing Reiki practitioners, business owners. So let's just be honest, upfront, and open about that. And let's be clear about it. That, when those inappropriate comments arise, they are sexual harassment, they are inappropriate, and that they need to be called out and put a stop to. And so what that means is that when we might receive inappropriate comments on our videos, our posts, whatever it might be, that we acknowledge that, block it. It is not okay for someone to post inappropriately in those ways. It is not acceptable. They do not have the right. Yes, we are posting in a public forum. Yes, anyone can see our posts, but it doesn't mean that someone has the right to sexually harass us on our posts. And so what that means is that if someone is commenting inappropriately on your posts, block them, remove the comment. It is not okay. I don't encourage engagement. I just encourage shutting it down and saying, no, this is not okay. And I want to encourage all of us that when we see this on other posts, when we see inappropriate comments on other Reiki practitioners' posts, particularly of a sexual harassment nature, let's shut that down. Let's know this is inappropriate. This is not okay. Report that comment, block that person, and it is not okay. You know, we can say all kinds of things about, oh, you know, the hurting person hurts, and oh, that person is just hurting. Well, maybe, but there are plenty of hurting people in the world that don't hurt. There are plenty of hurting people that do not act out in inappropriate kinds of ways, and that no matter what hurt we might have on our journey, it is our responsibility to not pass that hurt on to others. And so when we say things like, oh, look at the way that person's commenting, hurting people hurt. Yes, we can have compassion for that person, and we can recognize that they've been hurt, but we don't have to excuse their behavior. And so let's shut that down. And that means that if someone is posting inappropriate comments on your posts and videos, block them, shut that down, shut the door, and get rid of them, because no one deserves to be sexually harassed on their posts, on their videos, or anywhere else, whether on social media or out in the street. So as you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about that and shutting it down. But what are some other things that you can do? So you block someone, you get rid of them, they cannot see you, remove them from the post, block them from seeing your stuff. Another thing that you can do is that, let's say that you are posting videos on Facebook. You're posting on your profile, and you have them set as public, which means that anyone can see them, including someone who might comment with some inappropriate comments. You can do a couple of things in addition to blocking that person. Now, I'm talking about Facebook here specifically. It's going to work differently on other social media platforms, but you can set your videos, your lives, you can set them to not be public and to be seen only by your friends. So that's one thing to do. Now, of course, when it comes to our Reiki business and getting ourselves out there, we want to be seen. We want to be visible. We want people to be able to access us and to find us. And so that means that it's not ideal to only set your Facebook lives to be visible by your friends. That's not ideal. And so what else can you do? Another thing that you can do is that you can set up your own group and you can go live in your group. Now, as the admin of your group, you are the gatekeeper for who comes into that group, and you can kick someone out whenever they are not following the rules. And so that means that when you set up your own group and you go live in your group, only your group members see the live. And if someone comments inappropriately, you just remove them from the group. And then you never have to worry about them seeing your lives again. And so this is a great way to get around this idea of getting inappropriate posts, inappropriate comments on your posts, on your lives. And so if you are getting a lot of inappropriate comments, first of all, remember it's going to happen. So remember that it's not just you, it's just a part of putting ourselves out there. And there are plenty of people who have nothing better to do than to be inappropriate. That some people just simply thrive on being haters. And I will say, by the way, This happens in the Reiki community as well, where you might be thinking, well, Reiki practitioners don't do this. Well, yes, they do. And so just know that Reiki practitioners themselves can be antagonistic too. But as you put yourself out there, you're going to have this issue come up as a possibility more and more. I will also say that ads bring out the haters too. And so that if you want to or are planning to create ads for your Reiki business, the chances are greater that you're going to get haters. So just know that ads bring out the haters too. So be aware of that. Be prepared for that. It's part of the experience. Again, this is not to excuse it, and it's not to say that it's okay, toughen up, get over it, and move on. It's to say, let's cultivate our own energy. Let's build up our own energy. Let's lean on Reiki and have our own practices in place so that when it happens, we can respond appropriately and be resilient. Now, if you are getting haters who are saying that Reiki is fake or Reiki is not a God thing, God doesn't like Reiki, or this is evil, or I've heard the comment, well, God heals, only God heals. Reiki doesn't heal, only God heals. This is a little bit different of a situation rather than, the sexual harassment, inappropriate remarks. This is just simply someone who is offering their opinion. And I think in this kind of instance, it is safer and it is more okay to engage in a conversation. And to engage in a conversation that might end up being constructive. If we keep our vibe high, if we bring the compassion, if we bring the Reiki. And so if I get someone who's saying, well, only God heals, I think that it's important for us to find some area of agreement with that person, whatever argument they might be offering. So, if they're saying, well, God doesn't believe in Reiki, to maybe find some kind of area of agreement. And to that, I might reply, well, honestly, I don't know exactly all that God's thinking. God knows a lot more than I do. And I agree that, we can't really know exactly what God wants or what God is thinking. Bad things happen to good people all of the time. And is that something that God wants? I don't know. What I do know is that in my experience, Reiki has been very powerful for helping others on their own journey and giving them some ways in which I've seen the benefits personally and with clients as well. And to even agree with them and say, I'm not doing the healing. You're right. Yes, I'm not the healer. I'm not doing the healing. And so there are plenty of ways that we can approach that, but I think to just find some areas of common ground and agreement can really help to maybe squelch some of the hater flames and to help decrease some of the haters' flames. And again, honoring and acknowledging that sometimes we're the haters. Like, let's be real. Sometimes we are the haters, only we're just hating in a different kind of way. And we think the way that we hate is okay because we think that we're right about the ways in which we're hating. Guess what? The hater thinks so too. So let's work to bring compassion and let's work to release judgment while at the same time not excusing inappropriate behavior that isn't appropriate at all, but rather honoring and acknowledging that constructive disagreements and discussions can be had, and let us work to not bring the same hater kind of energy. Let's work to bring a higher vibe to those kinds of conversations and to the situations and to the haters. And let's work to bring an open ear to listen and to meet people where they are in the conversation. This, I believe, goes a long way with the haters. And, it's not about changing the hearts of the haters. It's just about helping them to see that there are other ways of looking at things, other ways of doing things, other ways of viewing the world. So I'm sending lots of blessings and best wishes to dealing with the haters when you get them, because as you build your Reiki business, as you put yourself out there, whether on the street or on social media, you are going to at some point get haters. That's just an inevitable part of the journey. So I'm sending lots of blessings and best wishes to dealing with the haters, for bringing the love and the compassion, for practicing Reiki, which is here to help us always. So let's not forget that Reiki is here to support us in all of this. I'm here to support you in all of this, of course, not only with this podcast, but also with the free Reiki Biz Kit that you can get at standingstoneshealing.com/Reiki Biz Kit. And, of course, with the Build Your Reiki Business program at standingstoneshealing.com/build. Sending so many blessings and best wishes for your Reiki business. Thanks for tuning in to the Build Your Reiki Business podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, and send to a friend. Learn more about the Build Your Reiki Business program at standingstoneshealing.com/build. Sending blessings and best wishes to your Reiki business.